Hello. In this video, we're going to look at AutoCAD Fusion 360, just some very basic information about the software and the interface. So as you can see, I have opened up my Autodesk Fusion 360. It shows me logged in over here on the right side. And this is the screen, opening screen you would most likely see. It shows a data panel on the left. This is what is called the data panel. If you don't see this, just click on the 9 little squares that you see up here in the left corner. It is used to hide or show the data panel. And what you see in the data panel is basically your folder structure or your projects that you're working on. You may not have much here if it's the first time you're using Fusion. Maybe my recent data and demo project shows up. You can create new projects and start organizing your work within these projects. For example, I have a couple of folders inside my project folder. I have a file that has been done already in the past. So this is used for basically organizing your projects, and you can hide it when you don't want to see this and you need more screen space. I'm going to go ahead and do that. As you can see, I have a new file that has opened over here. You can open new designs from here like this. It just opens a new design, blank screen. So this is your working space, or your canvas it's called, and you'll see a lot of options here. The first one of which is actually the different workspaces that you can work in while you're in Fusion. Most likely you'll be working in the model workspace, but there are other workspaces like creating sheet metal parts, making 3D rendering out of your parts that you've already made, or doing animation work, or doing simulation work on the parts to find out strength of the part. But and then there's of course drawings. CAM is for machine work, machine tools. Mostly what we're going to focus on is how do we actually create parts, and that's done in the model workspace. In this workspace you will see there is a couple of things to note. You have a browser. As you start creating parts in your file, there's a organized structure where you'll start to see all these parts show up. So that's where you go to find certain parts or certain joints or things that you do. This helps keep your work organized for this particular file. On the right top corner you have the view cube, or what can be used to basically orient the parts, to move it around and look at it from different directions. We'll see that as we do the first example. At the bottom you have something that is used for setting your defaults. You can set your views, or to change the view, as in bring all the parts into the screen. We'll take a look at that also. And then you have various menus on the top, and these are all different things you'll be using in Fusion, either to sketch something or to take your sketches and create 3D parts with it. You could modify the parts certain ways. You can assemble components together, make sub-assemblies, and make more complicated parts. You can several other features. You're basically inspecting or measuring parts, getting parts from outside of Fusion, for example, from other vendors, suppliers. So we'll take a look into those one by one later on. Right now, the other important thing to notice is you have, of course, save menu up here. You can save your part when you're done working with it. And what you don't see right now, because there is nothing started here, is what is called a timeline. There is normally a timeline at the bottom here. It basically starts recording everything that you do in Fusion. I'm going to go ahead and just do one step so you can see that. I'm going to sketch a line. I can use the keyboard and just say L, or I can select it from here. And now you see something shows up on the screen. This is basically the coordinate system. This is important to understand because you have 3 coordinate axes that are shown also over here, X, Y, and Z. So you basically have the capability to work in 3D. Of course, a sketch is always done in 2D. You can draw it on a piece of paper, which is 2D. So when you want to sketch something, Fusion is going to ask you on which plane you want to sketch it. Should I sketch it on this green and let's say red, or sorry, green and blue axis, which means that is your Y and Z plane, or do you want to select the green and red, which is the XY plane, or is it the XZ plane? You gotta pick a plane to start a sketch. I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm gonna pick the XY plane. So I pick it by clicking on it. Now I'm ready to sketch a line. I can sketch a line. I'm just gonna do a random line here. I can continue to sketch it. If I choose to end it, I can just click on this check mark, or I can hit enter and it will be done. So there's my first sketch. It's a line. As you can see, a new item showed up here at the bottom on the timeline. It says I sketched something, so it basically recorded my action. And a whole different set of options show up over here, which is to fine tune this line that we have drawn. But we won't worry about that right now. As you can see, the view is right now the front view from an XY. It's not 3-dimensional, this is 2-dimensional, so it's just a sketch. And so it's only showing me one plane right now. From the front, this is how it looks. That's a very simple sketch, and I'm just gonna go ahead and save this, and it will ask me where to save it. I can go pick a folder. I'm gonna pick, for example, in this case, let's say the practice folder, give it a name, just say sketch line, and save it. Now I have sketch line version 0. The very first time I saved it, it creates a version 0 file, and I have my first sketch created. So as simple as that. We will look into more details on sketching and different types of sketches and parts that can be created in the next video.